I'm Jason, the world is yours, and this is the 2022 NFL League Leaders quarterbacks. In this series, we basically look at the NFL League Leaders for the quarterbacks after the end of every week. We look at passing yards, touchdowns, sometimes we look at interceptions, basically all the stats for the quarterbacks. After the NFL Week 2, your current league leader in passing yards is Tua Tagovailoa. Tua played versus the Ravens this past weekend. I think he threw for like 469 yards. So now he is the league leader. Second is Carson Wentz with the Commanders. So I don't think many people notice that. Look at Joe Flacco. Like, hold on, look at these two teams up here. You have Carson Wentz at 650 yards and Joe Flacco at 616 yards. I'm pretty sure not many people notice that Flacco has that many passing yards this season. He actually has more than Josh Allen. Josh Allen only has 614. Justin Herbert with the Chargers has 613. We have to keep an eye on Justin Herbert injury news. He got injured in the Thursday night game versus the Chiefs. Some rib cartilage stuff going on there. So we have to see how concerning is that injury. Patrick Mahomes is at 595. He played versus the Chargers. They won that game. Jalen Hurts is at 576. They just won their Monday night game versus the Minnesota Vikings. Hurts looked really good. Russell Wilson up here. Okay, 559 yards. That's a little bit surprising because this past weekend, the Broncos defeated the Texans, but it was a very low-scoring game. It was 16-9. Derek Carr at 547, tied with Matt Ryan. Okay, that's a little bit surprising because the Colts, well, both of those teams are actually 0-2, right? Well, not actually. Hold on, okay, let's get this right. The Raiders are 0-2. The Matt Ryan with the Indianapolis Colts are actually 0-1-1. They tied their first game versus the Houston Texans, and this past weekend they actually got shut out and didn't score a single point versus the Jaguars. Surprising. Joe Burrow, 537 yards. Joe Burrow and the Bengals they're actually 0. They're actually 0-2 also, right? The Bengals are 0-2. They just lost their first game versus the Steelers. Joe Burrow got sacked, I think, 7 times in that game. And they lost their second game versus the Cowboys without Dak Prescott. Lamar Jackson, they at 531 yards. The Ravens played the Miami Dolphins, and they actually lost that game this past weekend. Matthew Stafford at 512 yards. The Rams came back off of a pretty bad loss to the Buffalo Bills in NFL Week 1, and they won their game this past weekend versus the Atlanta Falcons. Trevor Lawrence, 510 yards. As I mentioned, the Jags played the Colts, and they defeated them and did not allow a single point. Jameis Winston, 505 yards. The Saints lost this past weekend to Tampa Bay. I don't know, I'm hearing some rumors that Winston is injured. I don't know what's going on there. Kirk Cousins with the Minnesota Vikings, 498 yards. They lost their past game this weekend to the Philadelphia Eagles. The Jared Goff at 471 yards. The Detroit Lions, they won their first game of the season. They defeated the Washington football team. Kyler Murray led a amazing comeback versus the Raiders, and they won that game this past weekend. He's at 470 yards. Mac Jones, they won their first game this weekend versus the Steelers. He's at 465 yards. Aaron Rodgers winning their first game of the season versus the Bears. It was a blowout game. He owns them. 429 yards. Davis Mills, right? Okay, Davis Mills with the Houston Texans. They're not 0-2. They're actually 0-1-1. One, they lost their first game versus the Indianapolis Colts, and their second game, well, they didn't lose. They actually tied the first game versus the Indianapolis Colts, but they lost their second game versus the Denver Broncos this past weekend. Marcus Mariota at 411 yards. Probably would not have thought that Mariota had more yards than Prescott and Brady at this point of this season, but he's doing pretty well for the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons have actually lost both games this season. They lost to the Saints and they lost to the Rams. Tom Brady won their first game of the season. He has 408, and Geno Smith with the Seattle Seahawks, who just got defeated by the San Francisco 49ers at 392, and Ryan Tannehill with the Tennessee Titans. They lost their Monday night game. It was really... Did he get benched in that game? I mean, I don't know if he got benched. I know he was taken out of the game because it was a blowout, but I think they're starting to look at their rookie quarterback there in Tennessee, so I don't expect Ryan Tannehill to appear on this list too many times this season. He's currently at 383 passing yards. So those are your passing yards league leaders after NFL Week 2. Let's look at touchdowns. Who has the most touchdowns? And then we'll probably end it with interceptions, right? We want to see who has the most interceptions. Right now, the league leader in touchdown is Allen at 7. Mahomes has 7. Wow. Tua has 7. Wentz has 7. Okay, so it's a four-way tie. Carson Wentz is having a season, right? Like, I mean, I got to keep an eye on that, right? I didn't know he was performing that well. He's top 3 in passing yards, and he's tied in touchdowns. So you got to keep an eye on him. Jared Goff has 6. Herbert has 6. Jackson has 6. Look at Flacco. Flacco was 5 touchdowns. Derek Carr with 4. Stafford with 4. Burrow with 3. Cousins with 3. Jones with 3. Lawrence 3. Murray 3. Winston 3. Brady only has 2 touchdowns this season? That's interesting. They're playing the Green Bay Packers this weekend, and he won't have Mike Evans, so you have to keep an eye on that one. Did we say Aaron Rodgers yet? How many touchdowns do he have? Jacoby Brisket, yeah, for the Cleveland Browns. Justin Fields, first time seeing him on the list. Mac Jones has 2. Mariota has 2. Mayfield has only 2. Davis Mills has 2. Aaron Rodgers only has 2, and Geno Smith only has 2. Okay, so some surprising names on this list. I didn't expect to see Carson Wentz's name appear so many times in the top 3 of the list. And let's end it off on interceptions, right? With the good comes the bad. Let's see who has the most interceptions in the... This is not a good number. Do they have sacks? I want to see sacks. Oh, yeah, we have to go with sacks after interceptions, right? We start with 2 good topics, and then we have to end with, hey, you know, some not so good numbers for these quarterbacks. The league leader in interceptions currently is Matthew Stafford with the Rams. Okay, Burrow has 4. Ryan has 4. Carr has 3. Cousins has 3. Wentz has 3. Winston has 3. Allen only has 2. Fields has 2. Mac Jones has 2. Mariota has 2. Tagovailoa has 2. And Tannehill has 2. So each of these quarterbacks have basically thrown a touchdown in each game this season, right? But Burrow with 4 interceptions, and Matt Ryan with 4 interceptions, and Stafford with 5 interceptions. You got to keep an eye on that number, right? That's a very, very... 5 interceptions in 2 games? Wow, Burrow with 4 interceptions, so... Brady has 1. Jacoby has 1. DJ Dallas? Joe Flacco has 1. Goff has 1. Herbert has 1. Hurts has 1. Jackson 1. Daniel Jones has 1. Trey Lance, who unfortunately got injured this past weekend for the San Francisco 49ers, so his season is over. Trevor Lawrence has 1, and Baker Mayfield has 1. And then with one of the best stats for quarterbacks, or one of the worst stats for quarterbacks, we want to see who has the most sacks, right? Not going to do sack yards or anything like that. Obviously, it's Joe Burrow. Not a big surprise there. Oh, my God. He has 13 sacks in 2 games. Winston has 10 for the Saints, so that's about 5 sacks a game. These quarterbacks are getting beat up. Jones has 4. Jones has 8. Stafford has 8. And Rodgers has been sacked 7 times. Wow. Really? Matt Ryan has 7. Carr has 6. Mayfield has 6. Mills has 6. Wentz, okay, he has 6. Fields has 5. Flacco, wow, he's been sacked 5 times. Wilson has been sacked 5 times. Goff has 4. Hurts 4. Smith 4. Tua only 4. Mitch Trubisky for the Steelers. Look at the Steelers. The first time he appeared on this list, right? Only has sacked 4. Look at Josh Allen. Only sacked 3 times. Brady only 3 times. Cousins 3. Mariota 3. Murray only 3 times. Cooper Rush, he got sacked 3 times in his first game. And Ryan Tannehill. Cooper Rush plays for the Dallas Cowboys. He had to come in for the injured Dak Prescott, who I don't know when he's coming back, but he's going to be out for some time. So those are your 2022 NFL league leaders after NFL Week 2. Some surprising names on this list. Tua Tagovailoa currently leads in passing yards at the moment at 739 yards. Let me know who is your favorite quarterback. Who do you think is going to lead the league in passing yards after NFL Week 3, and who's going to lead the league in touchdowns after NFL Week 3. I'm Jason. The world is yours. This was your 2022 NFL League Leaders Quarterback Edition. Thank you for watching.